Okay, hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about the new moon and Virgo here. Here you see the official climax of the new moon is going to take place in the hours of 9:40 p.m. tonight, September 14th, 2023. The new moon is going to happen with the moon and the sun in Virgo at 21 degrees. But something that's very interesting about this new moon is that they're at the very last minute within this 21-degree point. So together, both the moon and the sun are going to stay conjoined, jumping at the 22nd degree. And that's when the sun and the moon will form an exact trine to Uranus in Taurus here at 22 degrees Taurus, 57 minutes retrograde. There is a lot in the alignments going on with this new moon here, but I really only want to focus on a few things. And who knows, maybe with my Gemini-like nature, I might wander into other topics surrounding this new moon. But the main things I want to talk about is, of course, this sun and the moon in Virgo. Mercury, we can see, is clearly still retrograde. Mercury will station direct once the moon moves into Libra. So it won't be until the September 15th in the hours while we are sleeping where Mercury will station direct. So we're going to talk about the sun and the moon in Virgo. We're going to talk about Uranus and Taurus trining the sun and the moon. And then we're going to talk about this Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees. And you can see in all of this blue here, there is a grand trine in Earth signs, a grand Earth trine. So even though Pluto is at 28 degrees, we can still count it within orbit to form this grand Earth trine here. So we're going to talk about Pluto and Capricorn, the new moon in Virgo, Uranus and Taurus, and then we're going to talk about Neptune here at 26 degrees that is opposing this new moon. So again, even though Neptune is at 26 degrees and the new moon is at 21, 22 degrees, it is still within a considerable orbit of an opposition to this new moon. And here, Neptune is the divine supernatural element to this new moon that forms a kite with this grand trine. So we see Neptune in Pisces here is sextiling Pluto in Capricorn, 28 degrees. That's that green line there. And we see Neptune is sextiling Uranus and Taurus right here at 22 degrees. And that's that other green line. So you can see this formation with the green and the blue, and then the red that goes straight across. This is what's called a kite. And kites are a very rare formation that are full of divine synchronistic properties. And we're gonna break it down piece by piece here. So new moon in Virgo. Okay, we got Mercury retrograde still in Virgo. What is Virgo? Virgo is the second mutable sign in the zodiac. It is mutable earth. Virgo is the energy that wants to analyze and break down information based off of the facts and the data. So basically, Virgo is like that scientist that takes an idea and actually goes into the laboratory and formulates the mathematical equations, and through its theories and trial and error, this figures out what is actually true, what is actually real, what is actually probable within reality. So because it's earth, it's the experience we have in reality. The four mutable signs are the four signs of perception, experience, so what we experience in the reality, magic, and truth. And Virgo is that second pillar of truth that actually gives us the data that is real. So For example, who was it? Nicholas Copernicus, who came up with the equation for gravity. I believe that's him. I hope that's him. I'm pulling it out of my head right now. So, the story is Copernicus was sitting under an apple tree and an apple falls on his head. And he's like, son of a bitch, what force in this world caused this apple to fall from the tree? What force is it in this world that is causing things to fall? When I let my pen go, there is a force that is drawing that down. So that the question and the thinking, that's the first pillar, and that's Gemini. That's thinking through your curiosity, through your mind. Now, Virgo is the part that actually does the math and figures out through theory and trial and error what it is. And so Virgo is the energy that identifies the information through the truth, through the physical reality, and that is gravity. That force that causes the apple to fall from the tree is gravity. So Virgo is very analytical in perceiving reality, wanting to have the truth within all the information so it can understand the world, basically. Now, Virgo energy has been going through a very strange period. The archetypal energy for Virgo has been going through a very strange period ever since Neptune had entered Pisces. Because Neptune, Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. Pisces is the fourth pillar of truth, perception, magic, and wisdom. So, whereas Virgo is very grounded in the reality of perceiving this matrix, Pisces is the exact opposite, where it transcends everything that we think we know about this reality, about the physical reality. So Pisces is dreams, fantasies, spirituality, the divine, the supernatural. So also spiritual. Pisces is also fantasy, escapism, delusions. So Virgo has been going through a very challenging time ever since Neptune entered Pisces at the very end of 2011, really 2012, because what Neptune and Pisces has been doing, opposing this Virgo energy over the last decade, is it's been blowing it has been blowing the mind of this archetype, this archetype of Virgo, by challenging what the Virgo archetype has been indoctrinated to believe within its perception of what is true and real within reality. So, Pisces and Virgo, this is the the line of heaven and earth. So Pisces is the heavenly realms and Virgo is the earthly realms. So whereas Virgo figures out that the force that draws the apple to fall from the tree is gravity, Pisces is that energy that says, well, if I snap my fingers, I can get rid of gravity. If I snap my fingers, I can get rid of gravity and actually make all of the trees fall upwards. And now that doesn't really make sense. And it's like, in what reality is that possible? But Pisces is that energy that can dream and can create, and through its what it believes, it can manifest through supernatural quantum abilities, things that completely destroy what we perceive is true and possible within reality. So it's very weird. One second, what did I do here? All right, so what am I trying to say here? Neptune opposing Virgo. So basically, what the problem is that for generations, the consciousness of the world has been programmed and indoctrinated to perceive reality in a certain limited way. So the public education system, when we go to school, the public education system was created by the Rockefeller family and the Rothschild family a long time ago. And they created it because they wanted to establish a world, a society of workers, of obedient workers, not free thinkers. And so they needed to take control of the education systems and start training the mind, indoctrinating the mind through generations how to perceive reality, what is real within reality. And one of the things that they first began to do was to take away spirit from the element of science. And science without spirit is dead science. And so we live in this world where everybody has a hard time being open within their mind to the concepts that there are other life forms on earth, that we are all connected, that all of the divine supernatural stuff, what is out there in space. So the Virgo archetype within the collective consciousness has been limited. It has been put in a box. And so this is why it's so frustrating for people like you and I who tune into the spirituality, who tune into the disclosure movement, and for example, astrology. You know, the science of astrology, it has been severely ridiculed and removed from our divine connection to the universe. So in today's society, the mass collective consciousness of the world has been conditioned to think astrology is not real. There is no way that the planets moving can affect my life here. That's just not possible. It's just not probable. And these people, they'll come at you with all kinds of science, with all kinds of facts. But remember, this is limited science. This is science that is based off of a limited, inverted matrix system that is designed to keep our consciousness enslaved. So ever since Neptune has entered Pisces 2012, Neptune in Pisces has been opposing this Virgo energy for over a decade. And Neptune is at home in Pisces. So Pisces is transcendental magic. Pisces is when we transcend out of our perception of reality and move into divine spiritual energies where our imagination is our limitation. So if it wasn't for imagination and our thoughts, we wouldn't be able to actually create anything. And so we're moving in this time right now where science is just beginning to catch up to the ancient spiritual ways. Very recently, I saw a photo, and it was the first photo captured of a photon. And this photo looks exactly like the yin yang symbol. I wonder if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see. First photo of photon. I saw it somewhere, and it was pretty mind-blowing, and it was exactly like a yin yang symbol. Hold on. There it is. Okay, I'm going to show it to you guys right now. You see it is here. Quantum yin yang. Scientists visualize quantum entanglement of photons for the first time. And look how it fucking looks. Where did this symbol come from? How did ancient Chinese culture develop this symbol of yin yang? And now we know the metaphysical properties of this symbol, right? It's the light and the dark, and within the dark there is the light, and within the light there is the dark. But here we can see it within quantum entanglement of photons, invisible. We cannot see these spectrums of light. We cannot see these frequencies. And that's Pisces. Pisces is what we can't see, but we can believe and imagineer and create. And Virgo energy has a very hard time understanding and dealing with that, because the consciousness, the archetypal energy within the collective consciousness has been heavily suppressed and limited through the educational systems. And so, the ancient Chinese cultures, how did they channel this symbol of the photons? Through meditation and going within and transcending their consciousness, going into a trance meditation like experience where they can see through their mind's eye and download the wisdom of what this means. And so, again, Neptune opposing all of this Virgo energy has been really challenging the consciousness within the planet and causing a great divide. It has been causing a great divide where many people are still clinging on and holding on to what they think is real and how the world works, while there is a whole other side that has been awakening and activating and realizing that we have all been enslaved and entrapped in a false, perverted, inverted matrix construct. And so it's no coincidence that since 2012 there has been a continuous expansion within consciousness of people becoming more spiritual and activating divine supernatural gifts. Ever since Neptune has gone into Pisces, the dial has been turned up where rapid acceleration of manifesting and synchronicities has been increasing. And so this Neptune in Pisces has been activating supernatural divine psychic abilities and connections. It's been helping us reconnect, has been helping us reconnect to what has always been there, but it has been lost through a veil, through the peripheral of our understanding, because we've been indoctrinated and separated from not trusting our intuition, from not trusting our gifts. And so with this new moon right now, this is very tricky as well with the new moon right now, because Neptune is also deception. Neptune is trickery and deception. The reason why I say deception is because Neptune is also illusions. And Neptune and both Pisces govern Hollywood and movies and drama and theater. Because when you go to a movie, when you watch a movie and you look at the television, what you are seeing is an alternate reality, an alternate dimension that was imagined and created and now projected through light, sound, and technology, creating the image on your television screen. And that is an illusion. It's a hologram. So Neptune, Pisces energy governs Hollywood, governs the television, governs the movie, governs movies. And so that's why I say Neptune, I and a few other astrologers that I know of have been calling the Neptune and Pisces transit a mini age of deception, because we have been going through this confusing period where our perception and how we experience reality has been warping in a way where we are becoming more aware of synchronicities in our lives and more aware of how rapid our thoughts and our emotions co-create and manifest things into physical existence. Now, why is this tricky and confusing with this new moon? Is because we are entering a whole new era of reconnecting to lost ways of tapping into our own inner guidance, of tapping into our own spiritual practices. And in that process, we are having to move through the different layers and the different programmings within our consciousness that has been indoctrinated and conditioned in how we perceive what is real and what is possible within our reality. And what's also entangled within this is being very easily fooled and being very easily tricked. This combination here is that of the illusionist, that of the stage magician who is able, and through understanding how the eye works, how angles work, and how light works, to trick you into perceiving that what they are doing is true magic. And right now, on the world stage, we are all very prone and vulnerable to being tricked through our own five senses, because the earth signs govern the five senses, because these are physical senses: taste, smell, sight, and hearing. And one thing that I want to really use as an example with this is the disclosure, and I'm using air quotes right now with my fingers, the disclosure of the supposed Peruvian alien mummy that the Mexican government has been disclosing on television for the world to see. And so here we see the Mexican government confirming that this is an alien, and they're showing the world MRI graphs and magnetic imaging. And well, that's what MRI is, magnetic resonance imaging. And they're saying, yes, this is an alien. Meanwhile, so when that's happening, we're seeing that with our eyes. And then with the Virgo energy, we're seeing who's delivering this. And we're seeing that it is an official government from an official country, where the president of Mexico is right there speaking and saying, yeah, guys, this is a fucking real deal alien right here. We found this. And so I know for many of you guys, I'm preaching to the prior here, but like 90% of the world out there, 90% of the people are not hip to the same game we are. And so the Virgo archetypal energy is looking at the credentials. They're like, okay, we got a scientist. He's an official scientist. He's wearing a white lab coat. We have the government. It's on national television. It's being broadcasted. So that means I can trust these credentials. I can trust this authority. I can trust these institutions and not doubt, not question what they are saying. And what they are saying is that this is an alien. So why would they do this right now? Why would they say this is an alien? When digging deeper, we already know that these mummies, these remains, were discovered way back in 2017. And though they look like aliens, it has already been proven that they are tampered bodies of people who've already died a long time ago to be deformed and mummified and have this alien-like appearance. They are not aliens. It has already been proven that they were not aliens. And the reason why the head looks like that is because they took a skull of a llama and they took bones from other bodies and they made it look like this. So we are being deceived here. And so we're seeing this with our eyes, and we want to believe this. We're looking at the credentials, we're looking at the government, and we're like, this is real. Now, why would they do this right now? Why would they want to show us this thing that is going to blow the minds of the world? Because now, okay, on the world stage with governments, they're now coming out and talking about aliens more. And this is a distraction, because the opposition, the globalist, the globalist governments for the New World Order agenda, they are all working together here. And this is a distraction. And they already know that they can tell us everything point blank, and it's not going to change anything. Why? Because people still have to go to work the next day, because people are easily discouraged. The will and the spirit and the heart within majority of the people is already broken, and not many people really fucking care. This has been years in the making. to dampen and break in the will and the spirit of the people. And so they can tell us right now that point blank, there can be a big announcement that Joe Biden and all the other things like on official television, and it's not going to change anything. And they know this, and and they're laughing at it. So why distract the entire world right now by showing us this fake alien on television through the Mexican government? Well, it's probably for a number of different reasons, but of course, the name of the game is distraction. Deceive the people and distract the people. While at the same time that this is happening, the same week where the Mexican government started talking about this, there have been legal court cases where organized groups and institutions have been talking to, I believe it was a Supreme Court case talking about implementing stricter new protocol policies into law for the next pandemic, for the next unnatural disasters. Okay. So no one is paying attention and no one is aware that there are active people in court right now saying there is going to be a next wave of a pandemic. And when it comes, we need to have stricter lockdowns. We need to have stricter policies. We need to enforce this and enforce that. And meanwhile, while all the people are distracted, no one is, that's not being broadcasted on television. So I'm not saying this to scare you or saying that, the world is being taken over, all of this stuff, all of these, everything that's happening is all part of grand cycles to evolve and expand the consciousness of the planet. And this is going to take years. This is going to take hundreds of years. But we right now are experiencing the paradigm shift, the apocalypse. So this is the most important part of where we are going to go next. And so we have to activate right now. All of this North Node, this Chiron and Aries energy, this North Node and Aries energy is activating us in due time, laying down the groundwork for our inner warrior masculine energy to become awakened before Neptune is done moving in Pisces and Saturn and Neptune jump out of Pisces together into Aries. Okay, this is just setting the stage. This is just laying the groundwork to activate the warriors within people. So the reason why I'm using this as an example is because we can be easily fooled right now. But at the same time with this Pisces energy, separate from everything that I just talked about with this alien, is that there is no veil anymore. That we are integrating with the supernatural. We are integrating with the divine that has always been around us. And what has been gradually happening is removing the limited belief structures on how we perceive what is real, and we are experiencing more phenomenon. And so this is going to be really tricky, especially around spiritual concepts like twin flame, and other things like that, and past lives, and being a goddess and a king or whatever, because it is the ego and the belief and perception of the individual that creates what their dream experience is, what this is. And so most of the time what's happening, it is aspects within our unintegrated shadow subconscious that is bleeding into what we co-create, and we can easily fool ourselves and deceive ourselves. But this is all for a purpose, and the purpose is to awaken and reconnect to the divine and to establish how to align ourselves with that. So the other thing is Pluto here. It has been in Capricorn since 2007, 2008. Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is the government. Capricorn is the military. Capricorn is corporations. Capricorn is rules, authorities, structures, system, discipline. And Pluto and Capricorn, what Pluto and Capricorn has been doing is gradually exposing to people the impure shadow, taboo topics within our government. And so the moment when the year when Pluto first entered Capricorn was when we went into a mini recession and the housing market crashed, and that opened a whole can of worms where people started that time when this was a lot of people's awakening when they realized that the system was rigged, that the housing system was rigged, that the banks were rigged, and realizing that everything is all fucked up and authority and government are all in it, and so Pluto in Capricorn has been gradually showing us what is impure and toxic within the governments and authority structures in our world, within our global systems. And so here we have these three planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. These are trans-Saturnian planets, which means they are planets that are past the orbit of Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Earth. When we look at the tree of life in Kabbalah, the last orb on the bottom is called Malchut. And Malchut represents the realm of Earth, the physical domain, the physical reality. So Saturn is the ruler of physical reality, of time, of authority. So Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. So Saturn is grandfather energy. Saturn is Kronos in Greek mythology. And so in ancient astrology, with the naked eye, we could only see as far as the planet Saturn. And so that's why Saturn became the ruler of the physical reality. And the planets within Saturn's orbit are the moon, Mars, Mercury, and Venus. Now, once we start looking at the planets past Saturn, the distance is so far away, so far away in relation to the distance of the personal planets. And past Saturn, there is an asteroid belt, so many different asteroids. And there's one particular asteroid called Chiron. And Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is also known as the Rainbow Bridge. The Rainbow Bridge that takes us out of the domain of this physical reality and takes us to the transcended experience of other dimensions, of other celestial orders, of other worlds, of other solar systems. So Chiron is the guide, is the rainbow bridge on how we transcend out of the physical reality and start experiencing greater energies. So anyways, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. In astrology, these are generational social planets. These are great collective conscious planets. So all three of them are communicating right now, which means that there is a lot going on within the world stage. There's a lot happening within the world that is connected and affecting the consciousness of the entire planet. And now we have to look at what signs these planets are in. Pluto is in Capricorn. That's government, that's authority, that's military. And Neptune is spirituality, the divine, but also deception and delusions of grandeur, and prison and mental institutions and suffering. And how through connecting to the divine, we can transcend the veils of our suffering, the veils of samsara, and move into higher principles of celestial orders, that is our Christ consciousness. And now we have Uranus in Taurus. And Taurus is another earth sign. Taurus is fixed earth. Taurus is money, resources, what the earth produces for us. Food, food, the five senses. So Uranus and Taurus has been totally shaking up the entire planet, the entire earth. Now, over the years since Uranus has been in Taurus, I have said in many posts since 2018 that Uranus in Taurus is going to create a lot of earthquakes, is going to shift the earth, is going to move, is going to re-terraform the earth. And there have been a lot of earthquakes, a lot of things going on. But the interesting part about the earthquakes is that many of these earthquakes have been unnatural disasters. And now we look at Uranus, and Uranus is technology. So for this particular example, I'm going to tell you how Uranus is technology. Uranus is advanced science. It is like alien technology. It is very advanced science. Uranus is also the element of shock and unpredictability. And so Uranus in Taurus, in fixed earth sign, Taurus is earth. This is what I would say how the earthquakes that have been occurring since Uranus have been in Taurus have largely been through man-made technologies, frequencies, because Uranus is also frequencies. Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. And look at the symbol of Aquarius. It is literally two lines moving in an oscillating pattern like frequencies. So here we have Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, Pluto in Capricorn, bringing everything to the world stage, where we are seeing the official government of Mexico try to deceive us about aliens. And now when we see the aliens, it completely shatters and challenges the consciousness of the planet that are still stuck in this limited matrix of like, okay, well, if aliens are real, then what does that mean about my God? What does that mean about the Quran? I can't accept this. It challenges us. It's bringing in this whole new wave of challenging the archetypal energies of what Virgo represents. Meanwhile, we are experiencing ongoing shifts within the earth and within our resources. Uranus and Taurus, we have been seeing a massive attack on our global economic system, talks about the dollar collapsing. The last time Uranus was in Taurus was like right towards the end of World War II, and where we went into the Great Depression. The Great Depression. So every time Uranus goes into Taurus, it creates a massive, unpredictable shifts within the resources in our planet. And remember, Taurus is money, food, property, art, things that are physical and are things of value and are a resource. And so we are seeing the earthquake in Turkey. We're seeing the earthquakes in Pakistan. We're seeing the fires in Lahaina. There's the Kilauea volcano has erupted, and tornadoes and storms and all of that nature. So this is a very intense new moon right now, and it's a new moon, so it's literally a new beginning of the consciousness of the planet to start expanding out of the limited perception of reality, and as we start going into a whole new world, a whole new terrain. But the trick is that we have to be mindful of not being deceived. And this isn't just being deceived by the government, this is also deceiving ourselves. How many people within the spiritual communities have you seen totally ruin their lives because of a synchronicity told them that somebody was their twin flame? If you guys have been paying attention to me for long, then you know the story of an old friend that I have who completely, destroyed her family. I mean, it wasn't a good marriage or anything like that, but she had 3 kids and she was married. And she believed that this man that entered their family's life and became a business partner to her ex-husband was her divine twin flame. And so she left her husband, took the three kids, caused all of this destruction within how the family dynamic was. But what the truth was is that she was unhappy and in an abusive relationship with a man who was struggling with a meth addiction and all sorts of other things. And this dude was crazy. I knew him personally. He was an evil genius. And so she needed a way to escape her reality. And that's Pisces. Pisces is the dreamer. Pisces is escaping the mundane reality. And the mundane reality is Virgo. Virgo is the mundane reality of what we have to do in our day-to-day tasks. Eat, take a shit, make your bed, take a shower, brush your teeth, take your vitamins. Pisces wants to escape that and live in a fantasy. And when we are experiencing with so much trauma and stress where we don't know how to cope, because there is only so much that the 12% of our conscious mind can actively process, the intensity and overload of information that we can cope and process. So what happens is we disassociate and go into a fantasy that is going to help us feel better. And so instead of doing the mundane reality stuff of saying, you know what, I'm going to leave you because you're relapsing on meth again and you're abusive and this is not good for me or my children. Instead of doing it that way, she didn't have the strength to do it that way. So she had to create a fantasy, a dream where she believed this man was her twin flame. How many people have you met? You probably have experienced this within yourself over the last 12 years. I know I have. I have done this to myself as well. And it is not bad. It is with a purpose. And the purpose is to awaken and to be put on game, learning how to integrate your unconscious shadow and realizing that there is a divine and you can connect with it, but you have to be in control of both your light and your dark and what you are creating through your belief systems, through your imagination. And so this Neptune in Pisces isn't just being fooled by the government or other orders or other con artists or people like that. This is also how we fool ourselves. Neptune in Pisces is also bringing the ending of worshiping false idols. So where was I going here? Gosh, this is so much. I'm kind of just in channel mode right now. I don't know how long I've been going. 3:33 just passed. So where do I want to go? So now the next thing here, the next thing I want to talk about is, so, oh yes, the new moon. So the new moon, we are just beginning a new cycle on how to interface with reality as we are expanding in our entanglement to supernatural quantum properties that have always been there, but through generations and indoctrination, they've separated us from spirit. They took spirit out of science. They took spirit out of school. When astrology is a true science, astrology is all math with the incorporation of understanding spirit. So this is the beginning of a massive paradigm shift, and we have to be very careful right now. Now, the other thing, the highest teaching, the highest lesson that Neptune and Pisces wants us to understand is connecting to our own divinity, our divinity within. But in doing so, there are many different layers where we have to first move through the layers of our own self-deception. And within the spiritual community, we see that there are people who believe that they are ambassadors for the Galactic Federation of Light. Excuse me. Like when Mexico disclosed the alien, how many people on the internet have you seen started to say, oh, I'm channeling the Galactic Federation of Light. Oh, I'm channeling the reptilian, I'm channeling this goddess. And what they are telling me is that these beings that Mexico is disclosing are Orion Anunnaki, and they have a message for us. And the message is this and that and that and this. How many people are doing that when we already know that these aren't even fucking aliens, that they are human bodies and it's all just a fucking trick? And how many people are subscribing to what these so-called channelers and ambassadors for higher celestial aliens, how many people subscribe to that and believe that as well? Again, false idols, false prophets, false signs, false symbols. So I know I'm kind of all over the place because this really is a lot. Now, Venus is direct, and throughout this, Venus is moving very slow. Venus stationed direct at 12 degrees Leo 10 days ago, 11 days ago. And so in 11 days, Venus has only moved 2 degrees. So Venus is moving very slow right now. And Venus is now within orbit of making the third square to Jupiter in Taurus. So throughout this whole weekend and going into next week, Venus is going to be within this square here. Now, this is very tricky energy because Venus going direct, there are going to be a lot of people, a lot of other astrologers that are going to tell you, yeah, move forward with love and all of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Yes, this whole time of Venus being in Leo is about learning how to generate your own light within, your own happiness within, your own love within. But there are aspects in here that have been challenging this whole Venus and Leo energy. With Jupiter here is wanting to expand and bring challenge in making you aware of where your heart is aligning with values and principles and things that aren't really serving you, and to begin the process on how to break away from it. And with the combination of all this stuff going on, this is all leaving room for being easily deceived. And so I got to go pee soon. The last thing I want to say is that in 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse where the south node is in Libra and the north node is in Aries. Now, the south node in Libra, what this is trying to help us, the consciousness of humanity, is to break away from toxic group programmings, is to break away from toxic relationships, is to break away from suppressing your own individuality, your own desires, your own true expression out of a fear of how others are going to respond, out of a fear of persecution. So many people over the last few years would not hold their own ground and question the authority of the COVID pandemic out of a fear of the peer pressure of their contemporaries, of their colleagues, calling them a Nazi, calling them a sociopath for not wanting to get the vaccine. And so these social etiquette pressures that are bullshit, so this Libra energy, this false Libra energy, is the enforcer of the limited indoctrination that we have been conditioned in how to perceive and experience our reality. This is the social etiquette system. So the South Node in Taurus is wanting us to break away from it. And so for the next 18 months, well, the nodes have been in this sign already since July. So for like the next 16 months, this is really going to show us more of how toxic things are within our social etiquette systems. And this goes all through all spectrums, through all systems, through all groups. And for people to really break away from it and be their own fucking self, following what their higher self, what their calling is telling them to do, for everyone to build their own ark, to get their own land, to do their own fucking thing, and not trying to connect with all of these other people. So I'm sure you have seen since July, a lot of people are now openly saying on the internet, you know what? I'm tired of the disclosure community. I'm here trying to actually tell you the truth and discern all this information when most of you just want to subscribe to happy, feel good, channeled Arcturian bullshit that really isn't helping us in any way. And I just can't deal with this toxic community anymore. I came in here because I wanted to help awaken humanity and break away from the matrix, but this is compromised too. So I'm sure you have already felt that way within online, within these communities. And so we have been seeing a lot of people making these declarations of how fed up they are with things, and saying that they're going to delete their social media accounts and just focus on their life and what they need to do to prepare for whatever is possibly coming next. And that's what the North Node in Aries wants us to do, is to say, fuck all this shit. I'm not even going to bother anymore because it's taking away my energy and my time to do what I need to do to build a fence, to build an ark, to plant a garden, to get in shape, learn Tai Chi, and start getting better within my own self. So this is a process. The nodes are going to be here until next year. And right now on September 29th, we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse 2 weeks after today. And this is just the beginning here, people. So, so what's going on here with this grand trine? It's shifting reality. And with Neptune forming the kite, Neptune wants everybody to take flight and to transcend and connect to their own divinity, to their own truth, to their higher selves, and to not subscribe to everything that in ways where you can be easily fooled through your five senses, and to take a moment to pause and reflect and sit still within silence. And it is within silence where you will hear the word of God. It is within silence where you will hear your own mind without all of the bombardment and rambling of frequencies and other people's thoughts and opinions. You do not need to go to your favorite YouTube channeler or tarot card reader to tell you how to perceive and understand what's happening on the world stage. What you need is to learn how to connect to your own self and access your own wisdom that'll help guide you in making the proper moves within your own local matrix reality bubble. And with that, I'm going to end it there. As I always like to say at the end of my posts, love and light, death and darkness, we full spectrum out here. My name is Mario Mijares, clinical hypnotherapist and astrologer, also known as the Blu-ray Bodhisattva, and I'm here for you guys. Peace.